Okay, everybody, what I'm going to be going through tonight is the health and safety software, its new improvements, and what we have here, which is the HSG 65. It's a new health and safety guide for for health and safety on site for domestic and commercial work. Okay, now the HSE have come up with this idea called Plan.Do.Check.Act. Now this is how they train health and safety now to be certified. What the HSE haven't done is elaborated on the fact for you to check online. There is a document that we can actually send you out. Okay, it is the HSG 65 guide. However, this table that you do see in front of you here, this illustration, is going to give you a bit of a breakdown as to what is actually determined with Plan, Do, Check, and Act within our software. So how it's going to be able to help you. So to give you a brief overview of how this actually works, okay, in the planning, you're looking at determining your policy. Okay, what should your policy cover? Who should best be placed to write it? Consulting and acting on your policy as well. Planning for implementation, so why planning is essential, effectively, and effective planning as well. And then you've got the key actions in effective policy development and planning, so what you're going to be doing that way. Okay. Going from the planning, going over to the do. Okay, you're going to have profiling your organization's health and safety risks. So assessing the risks, what type of risks need to be considered, who should do the assessment, and who could actually be affected by that. Okay, what the law says on assessing risks. Okay, and assessing the level of risk as well. Anything from small businesses to medium-sized businesses, or those with a greater risk as well. Then you've got risk controls and recording your findings as well. Okay, so anything that could be seen as a problem. You've also got health surveillance, key actions and effective risk profiling. So organizing for health and safety, controls within the organization, the roles of your superiors as supervisors. Terribly sorry, not superiors. So key actions in supervising for health and safety effectively. Managing contractors. Key actions in managing contractors effectively as well. All right, so that's the plan and the do side of it. I don't want to go into a greater depth with that by just reeling off what is effectively combined in that. But as you can see, the software itself, okay, if I can scroll up the page a little bit, which is quite handy. Our health and safety software, HSX 2017, will help you cover that from your policy, your company health and safety policy, CDM 2015 duty holders checklist, contractors' responsibilities for domestic clients, and the domestic client responsibilities as well. Coming under the planning, okay, going on to the next phase, you're going to have your pre-construction information, your health and safety file, your construction phase and health and safety plan as well, your simple construction phase plan, or the larger construction phase plan, depending on the size of work, whether it's going to be small maintenance or whether it's going to be large sum as well. Your fire plan, contractor questionnaire, site setup checklist, and site rules as well. You'll find this under the management documentation that we have within the software. I know some of you that are actually watching right now already own the software. So this, I'm not teaching you to suck eggs or anything like that, but what you're going to see here is how the HSE are now actually looking at health and safety across the board. Okay. You've also got, into the do side of it, you've got the risk profiling, so the risk assessments, client acknowledgement of risk assessments as well, getting them to sign off on it. Okay, your method statement, whether it's going to be for commercial work or for domestic work. Your cost assessments, your cost cover sheet. Okay, any noise assessments that you've made, hand and arm vibration. Okay, and then your health and safety file as well, second instance for residual risk. All right. Then going on to the organizing and the implementing. So your site attendance register, making sure that everybody on site is all signed in, so you're not going to get told off by the HSE if they do come on site. Your site safety induction and your site induction register, making sure that people are actually going to be signed off on this, making sure that they're on site legally. Okay, toolbox talk register. You don't want anybody putting a disc cutter through their boot after and having said they haven't been signed off on it, or they've turned around and said that they were never trained. Okay, because if they can sign off on that and they put a disc cutter through their boot, sods law, their signature grants you, well, grants you the option of being able to say, well, he told me otherwise. Okay, you've got your PPE register, scaffolding handover sheet as well, excavation pre-works checklist, so nothing can cave in on one another. Okay, and then you've got your permit register as well. And then the implementing, making sure that they do have the permit to work electricals, permit to work excavations as well, permit to dig, work asbestos, confined spaces, work from height, working with hot works as well. Okay, and this should show competency, especially. Going from the plan and the do to the check and the act. Okay, so under check, you will be looking at the likes of measuring performance, okay, how to monitor, types of monitoring, selecting the right measures, key actions for measuring performance effectively as well. Okay, and then you've got investigating accidents and incidents as well. Why do you investigate? How do you report incidents? Okay, and then you've got the act. Okay, reviewing performance, key actions in reviewing performance effectively. Okay, learning lessons as well. Common factors with when things go wrong more than anything else, and organizational learning, rewriting your health and safety policy, the human factor behind it. All right, but then you'll see our health and safety software is going to help you deal with measuring performance. Okay, so scaffolding inspection register, your report of inspection and scaffolding. Okay, harness inspection, terribly sorry, lifting equipment, ladder inspection, plant inspection, site inspections. You'll find this all under the management documentation within the software. I'll show you that in a moment. Okay, then you've got investigating the incidents as well. So written breach of health and safety procedures. Okay, so you can fill that in, making sure that you keep up to date with that, especially if you have guys on site that are constantly breaking these health and safety procedures. Okay, 1 strike, 2 strike out, as it were. And then you've got the accident and incident investigation form. Going on to the acting. Okay, so reviewing your performance, site inspection, health and safety audit. Okay, the accident and incident record as well, making sure that this is all checked and make sure this is all up to date as well, so everybody is aware of what's going on. Okay, and then the learning lessons. Okay, it's saying the third instance. Okay, you want to make sure that this is all checked. Everything that you've learned over the course of a job is then reiterated over the coming jobs as well. So at least that way then you can make sure that anything you are doing in the future has been covered and has been adapted from previous jobs. Okay, and this is what the HSG 65 is really based on. This is how you're going to be fully trained in health and safety going forward if you are going to be trained as well. Okay, and luckily our software gives you a detailed breakdown of that, and so does this illustration here. This is something that we can send out to you, as well as some more documentation on what we can actually do for you as well. Okay, you can type in any questions at any time. Okay, so does anybody have any questions before I actually go flowing into the actual software itself? Give you a couple of moments. Okay. Going from Plan.Do.Check.Act, we can now go into our software. So this is Health and Safety Xpert 2017. Okay, this may be the new look that you are seeing, or this may be what you've actually trialed in the past, depending on where you are within this stage. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new project. Okay, so just clicking up here. You can back up. We do have access to online training as well. Okay, this isn't going to be NEBOSH registration. Okay, this is going to be your more like competency training than anything else. Okay, so acknowledgement of what to do in asbestos awareness. Okay, this is something that you can print off. You will be certified in it from an adjudicator as well. So it's not just, as it were, Mickey Mouse qualifications. Okay, this is known certification that you have been trained and are knowledgeable of health and safety. Okay. And you do have multiple courses on that, everything from management training for being on site through to asbestos awareness. Okay, but yes, going up to new project, hitting that button there, we're going to give this project a name. Okay, so picking anything out at the board, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Okay, and the project type is going to be, I'm just going to say a bungalow for the now. Okay, we're going to be building a bungalow. Clicking OK. So within this new project, all right, it's saying unable to, oh, well, it's just saying that because it's unable to import my logo. So that's not something you would come up against every time that you open the software. All right, so what we've got here are the steps at the top of the screen. Okay, so everything from your project detail to your health and safety policy, so that's the plan part of it, everything into the pre-construction information as well. And then you've got the do aspect or the risk assessments, the cost sheets. Okay, then you've got the method statement as well. Then you've got the check aspect, so your construction phase plan, your management documentation. This construction phase plan will actually be under the plan as well. Okay, and then with your health and safety file, this is something, this will be under your do. Okay, so everything that you've done over the course of the job, you can then reiterate and then bring back to your company as well. Okay. So first off, the project detail. You can give your company a your job or project reference. Okay, it could be something that you've imported from our estimating software. So it's going to fill out a lot of this information by itself. Okay, you can give you the name of your client. Okay, so I'm just going to go Mr. Smith. All right, and then I'm going to select the site address. Again, if you've imported this from Estimator Express, it's going to fill it all in for you. Okay, so for the benefit of the doubt, I'm going to go 15 Wexford Road. However, if you're going to be filling this out from scratch, you can just go over to the button here. We have these little heads. You can hit that button, and then you can go add. And you can add in everything from clients to contractors, designers, emergency services, environment agencies, and so on, all the way through to utility companies as well. All right, but for the benefit, I'm going to go and select the pre-selected one. Okay, the building company is Matt Allan, Pritchard Street, BS2. Okay, so it's going to be the company that I'm working for at the moment. Who is the health and safety director? Obviously, me. Okay, who is the principal designer? Now, this could be somebody that's within your business. It could be somebody that who is the architect as well. Okay, now if your principal designer, all right, if it's the external architect, they need to tell you when their health and safety stops to make you aware. Okay, because they're going to have to provide you health and safety for their designs. Okay, so making sure that if they state that their health and safety stops when you break ground, then your health and safety is going to begin from there on. All right. But the health and safety for this demonstration, okay, the principal designer is going to be my colleague, Josh. Going into the principal contractor, that's going to be my other colleague, Mark. That's the person who's going to be in charge of all the contractors on site and who everybody leads to before coming directly to the health and safety director. Okay, and then the HSE. Which HSE are you going to be working for within which region of the country you're in? Now, from a demonstration point of view, I've got HSE Bristol, Somerset in there. Okay, but you've got everything from Devon, East, West, and Sussex, Essex, Kent, and then if you hit browse for more, you're going to find a lot more as well. Okay, so if yours isn't in there, tell us and we should be able to find it. Okay, or we'll add it in, or you can add it in yourself. It's entirely up to you. But I'll choose the HSE Bristol. All right, and you just make sure that that's filled in before going on forward, so you can at least every time you go back into it, you know which job you're going to be filling out. All right. Beneath that, however, we do have links to the health and safety site, okay, the HSE site. Now, you've got HSE COSH, HSE in construction, responsibilities and duties for various roles. So if you didn't understand or you don't understand the responsibilities for, say, the principal designer or the principal contractor, what you can do is you can click this button here, and it's going to take you directly to the relevant page on the HSE website. Okay, so you've got everything from commercial clients to domestic clients, your designer, principal contractor, everything down to the worker as well. Okay, so you can see what the responsibilities are. You've got your online F10 notification because you have to do that all online now. All right, and you've got everything down to the EH40 to 2005 workplace exposure limits as well. And then newly in the HSE hand-arm vibrations exposure calculator. Now, what you probably find in the future is the HSG 65 in there as well, so you can start reading up on that and linking in. Oh, would you look at that? It's in there already. The HSE Guidance Plan.Do.Check.Act approach, HSE 65. Okay. So you can at least read up on this and see what the HSE are actually requiring from you now. Going on to the next page, we've got the health and safety policy. Okay, this is going to be your policy. Now we've got these little tabs up the top about this policy. Now if you click this little pencil here, it's going to tell you exactly what the policy is going to be, Part A, Part B, and Part C. Okay, so Part A, this is a statement or general declaration based on your obligations under the Health and Safety Work Act 1974. Now that sounds like you're going to have to write a whole lot of jargon, something that you don't really want to write out yourself, but luckily what we've done for you as a company, we've helped you write out that policy statement. So if you wrote this here, what the software is going to do is going to pull in a lot of the information by itself. So it's going to pull in your company name, your company health and safety, the director's name as well. What you find is, although it's got these hashtags and percentage numbers and names here, okay, on the final print off, you'll see the likes of my company name and my name as well as the health and safety director. All you'd have to do is make sure that it is signed and dated when you've printed it all off. Now, your health and safety policy, this needs reviewing every, say, 12 months. However, if you've learned something new off of a previous job, you can just print it all off again, and you can see, and you can make sure it's all updated job by job if need be. Okay, I do have a question. So if you bear with me a second. Can we get the first poster you showed earlier, as it is not on the HSG 65 guide PDF? Absolutely, Dean. That is something that we will send over to you. Okay, that's not a problem. All right, and we will be more than happy to do so. Okay, it will give you a breakdown as well, and it's nice as reflection as well, so you at least know what you're doing. Okay, that's not a problem. I'll make sure that that gets sent out to you first thing. Okay. Okay. Any other questions right now? Okay. So, going from the health and safety policy, you've got your responsibilities and duties, so your organizational chart. Again, this is going to be filled out automatically by the software after what you've put in on the first page and who you filled out as the managing director, who the contracts manager is, and the site manager within your company as well. Okay, going from there, you've got the company's duties, what your company's duties are, okay, so far as are reasonably practical, okay, to observe and the requirements of the Health and Safety Work Act 1974, arranging site safety systems, okay, and then going on to ensure that the regulatory reform, Fire Safety Order 2015, is complied with as well. Okay, just making sure that this is all relevant and up to date. Then you've got the likes of chain of responsibility, the safety director's duties, contract manager's duties, duties of the site managers and foremen. Okay, so at least people in your company understand your health and safety policy, not only the directors, but everything down to the work in the foreman as well. They need to know who's responsible of whom, okay, and who they go to with regards to health and safety as well. You want to make sure that you're completely covered, because the last thing you want is a health and safety breach, okay, one that can really scupper you and your business. And then going down into Part C, arrangements for health and safety. So who the CDM post holder duties are, information, training, consultation, welfare, and working time. Okay, so you can start seeing that we've actually filled all this information in for you. And you'll find that this is going to be a trend throughout the software as well. We've done a lot of writing for you to make sure that you don't have to worry about it. Okay, read it, definitely read it, but don't worry about having to write it all out yourself. What you will find, however, if a box is empty, it may require you to fill in the information yourself. Okay, but then what you can do is you can hit print, and this software will then print off your full health and safety policy, something for you all to sign off. And again, you don't have to go back to it for another 12 months if you don't want to. Okay, but make sure that it is updated regularly, well, yearly or annually. Okay, to make sure that you are up to regs with health and safety. Okay. Going from the health and safety policy, you can go into the pre-construction information. Okay, brief overview of what this is. The pre-construction information is defined as information about the project that is in the client's possession or which is reasonably obtainable by or on behalf of the client. Okay, so the information must be relevant to the particular project, have an appropriate level of detail, and be proportionate. Okay, given the nature of the health and safety risks involved. Anyway, pre-construction information should be gathered and added to as the design process progresses to reflect new information about risks of health and safety and how they should be managed. Preliminary information gathered at the start of the project is unlikely to be sufficient. Okay, so first off, as we said, this should be in the possession of the client. So you've got the description of the project, and if you hit this pen, you're going to have project description including the client brief, something that they may have. Hopefully they have it digitally, so what you can do is you can just copy and paste that in there, which is quite nice. Okay, then you're going to have key dates. Okay, this will be filled out in relevance to you, so you never know when you're going to be breaking ground, when you're going to be on site, when the health and safety, when your principal designer's health and safety will stop as well. So that's going to be under the key dates. Proposed use of the structure, whether it's going to be a living quarter, toilet, garage, depending on what the proposed use is going to be. Any existing records or plans. So this could be an existing health and safety file. Okay, so if somebody's already done work on it in the past and you've gone in afterwards. Okay, and then the client brief as well. Going from the project description of the project, you can go into the client's considerations and management requirements. Again, this is a process as well. So you've got communication and liaison between the clients and the others. So email addresses, numbers. Okay, make sure that it's all jotted down. Make sure that you understand how you're getting involved with your client, how you're communicating. Site security, whether it's going to be a man with a dog or whether it's going to be a 6-foot high steel metal fence. Okay. Again, this is going to be to do with you and your company. Welfare provision. Are you going to be given hot and cold water? Are you going to have a toilet? Or are you going to have to bring a portaloo on site? Are you going to have to pay for that? Okay. Site hoarding requirements. Is there a site cabin? If there isn't a site cabin, are you going to be able to store the equipment on site? Are you going to be able to put it into a shed, under the stairs, depending on what's going on there? Then you've got your site transport arrangements and vehicle movement restrictions. Okay, is it going to be a one-way street? Are you going to be able to get a JCB digger in there? Yes or no? Okay, you're going to have your client permit to work systems as well. Okay, any fire precautions that there may be, smoking away from site as such, emergency procedure and means of escape in case of a fire or in case of a collapse. You should be able to know that where all exits are. Okay, and areas designated as confined spaces. This will definitely be filled in by your principal designer as well, because they would have known what they've designed as a confined space. And then you've got your smoking and parking restrictions as well. Going from the client's considerations and management requirements, we can start going into the environmental restrictions and existing on-site risk as well. Okay, so boundaries and access, what's in the surrounding area, restrictions on deliveries, waste collection and storage. Again, is it a one-way street? Are you only going to have rear access to the building as well? What is the adjacent land use? Is it a landfill? Is it a nuclear power plant? Is it a McDonald's? All the same place probably. And then you've got existing storage of hazardous materials. Okay, if there is anything there beforehand, if you're going to be working and removing chemicals. Okay, location of existing services as well. So ley lines, power lines, pipe work. Ground conditions, underground structures as well, any water courses. what the existing structures are. If you're going to be knocking down, say, a small extension to build a larger one, you want to make sure that that's written in there as well. And then previous structural modifications as well. If somebody's gone in there and changed it, you want to make sure that you are aware of that, and that is on your health and safety as well. Okay. Then you've also got the fire damage, ground shrinkage, movement, or poor maintenance as well. And then it goes on as well to difficulties relating to plant and equipment in the premises, health and safety information contained in the earlier design, construction or as-built drawings, and then the asbestos, including survey results as well. Is there any asbestos available? Is there any asbestos there as well? Okay, and then it goes on as well, existing structures containing hazardous materials if there are any. If there aren't, NA, that's absolutely fine. And then last but not least, significant design and construction hazards. Okay, are there any significant design assumptions or suggested work methods, sequences, or other control measures? Filling that out. Are there any significant risks identified during design? Again, this would be filled out by your architectural, your principal designer, and the materials requiring particular precautions as well, if there are any chemicals. Okay, make sure that's filled out. And then again, you can hit print, have that in one place, make sure that's on site. Okay, or within the folder somewhere very easily accessible by somebody within the company. Okay, you can even leave it in the van if you know a particular van is going to be on site most of the time as well, just in case the HSE turn up. Going from the pre-construction information, I want to hop over to the construction phase plan. Okay, because it's going to have a link into the construction pre-construction information as well. So a construction phase plan sets out the arrangements for securing the health and safety of everyone carrying out the construction work and all others who may be affected by it. You can edit the text at any time. Okay, so the description of the project. Again, this has been done in the pre-construction information. You can bring it over, you can bring over your key dates and the existing structures that are aware of, the ground conditions and existing traffic systems as well. Okay, then the working restrictions. Make sure this is filled out. Okay, I know it feels like you're filling everything out twice, but it's just in this little section here. Then you've got your management structure. Okay, this is something that the software is again going to bring in for you from the information that you've put in earlier on. So your management director, who the managing director is, contracts manager, site manager, and who the contractors are and the employees. Okay, the management of work. Okay, this is the health and safety goals, monitoring and reviewing, liaisons between parties on site, consultation with the workforce, the exchange of design information as well. So it is essential that any design information is provided both in the initial contract documents and the subsequent changes to design of the structures, etc. Okay, handling design changes during the project as well. Selection and control of contractors, the exchange of health and safety information between contractors, site security, site induction, on-site training, welfare facilities. Okay, as you can see, we've done a lot of the writing for you, so you don't really have to worry about that because it's all filled out relevant to the HSE regs. So you can start seeing HSO 06 site induction register and so on. We filled out the relevant jargon that you don't really want to be writing out yourself. Okay. Terribly sorry. Going from the management of work, going into the contact names. Okay, who's going to be on site? Make sure that people know who is who. You've got your local authority, depending on who the local authority is, it's Bristol City Council in our case. Okay, the environmental agency. You've got Southwest Cornwall area, Southwest Regional, Manley House, Kestrel, Exeter, Devon. Okay, go on and so forth. I'm just going to select Cornwall for the now. But then you've got your risk assessment assessor as well. Whoever that may be, you can always add somebody in, or you can add somebody in as a council as well. Okay. Then you've got the designer details. You can fill that information in as well. Who the relevant principal designer is. I've got Josh. Who the contractors are. Then you can start filling in the services of the gas, the electricity, water. You want to know who's providing these things, just in case of an accident, or if something's been, well, if you strike a gas line, hopefully you wouldn't, but if you did, okay, you'd want to make sure that British Gas or whoever the gas provider is understands that you've done that, and maybe they should be aware with the client's details as well. Okay, then you've got the emergency services, what the nearest police station is, what the nearest fire station is, and what the nearest hospital is as well. Only because if anything goes wrong, you want to know which ones are the most accessible, as it were. Then you've got arrangements for controlling significant safety risks. Okay, delivery and removal of materials and equipment. We filled this information for you. Dealing with the services. You've got the adjacent land use. Again, this is something that the software can't see and what we can't see as well. So that's definitely worthwhile you filling in. Going on to preventing falls, working with or near fragile materials, control of lifting operations as well. Then going down to working on excavations of poor ground conditions, traffic routes, and segregation of vehicles and pedestrians as well. Okay. Then last but not least, the arrangement for controlling significant health risks. So the removal of asbestos, dealing with contaminated land, manual handling, okay, use of hazardous substances, particularly where there is a need for health monitoring, reducing noise and vibration, and then any other significant health risks that you may be aware of. And that's your construction phase plan. We do have a smaller one if you are going to be doing smaller maintenance work, so saying going in, refitting doors, windows and such, something on a smaller scale than it is a full extension, but something that's definitely going to be worthwhile you looking at, okay, and filling out. Going from your construction phase plan, I'm going to jump into the risk assessments. The risk assessments work like this. You're going to have a list. We've got a couple of hundred in there, so anything that you feel that you're going to come up against, you can add in your own, okay, or you can add to what we've already written. Okay, so if I go to excavations, say I can go preview here. And it should load up for me. There we go. Here we are. Okay, so if I zoom in there, what you're going to find is a traffic light system. Okay, so you've got the activity, what the hazard is, what the risks are, and then the pre-control risk ratings as well. Okay, what the control measures are being provided by your company, and then what the post-control risk ratings are going to be. So this red light, green light kind of situation. All right, you make sure that all these control measures are in place with your excavations, and you'll know by the end, you're going to be absolutely clear for any problems. Okay, and then we've filled out the relevant jargon with it as well. So inspection registered to be completed as per CDM Regs 2015, CRA, risk assessments for temporary works, then RA 107 falls, ladders, and confined space work as well, making sure that these are filled out along with excavations. And once you've filled all this in, well, once you've acknowledged all this information and you've had guys read it, okay, especially your contractors and your employees on site, make sure it's signed and dated. So at least that way then, if anything goes wrong in the trench and it wasn't your fault as a company owner, okay, and it was somebody that signed it off here and dated it as well, again, you're going to be in the driver's seat when it comes to anybody pointing the blame, okay? And that same preview goes for the COSH assessment as well. It's a real breakdown, really nice and smooth how it goes through it, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Portland cement. Okay, so we can start having a look at that. If I go to Portland cement, nice and easy one to look at. Okay, so it's going to break down, if I zoom in here, that what the substance is, what it's known as well, and the description of the substance as well, how it's applied. So it's not done by a brush or a spray, but it is done by machine, hand, indoor and outdoors. Who's at risk, what the controlled ingredients are, okay, and what hazards are involved, okay. So irritation of skin and eyes may cause allergic and irritant contact dermatitis, chemical burns, harmful if swallowed, okay, an assessment of risk. Risk of serious damage to the eyes, normal use has no harmful effect on dry skin, risk increases when water is added or dust settles on damp skin. All right, and as you can see, you can start seeing the information of Mr. and Mrs. Smith on 15 Wexford Road. What the storage is of this particular chemical or this material, okay, and then the first aid access, okay, skin, eyes, inhalation, ingestion as well. To be totally honest with you, if one of your guys on site ate the cement, I'd probably let natural selection take its course, but in that case, do not induce vomiting, wash out mouth with water, drink plenty of water, okay, and then seek medical advice. Okay, risk and safety phrases, you'll find that on some materials, not all. Okay, it's just the way the HSE works. Some of them have risk and safety phrases, some of them don't. It's something that's been brought in from the USA. Okay, and then sign and date it, make sure that you are covered as a business. Okay. But then what we've also got here as well is the method statement. Now, method statements, you don't have to provide a method statement if you're working on a domestic client, okay? But you do have to provide a method statement if you're working on a commercial area, okay? So industrial unit roofing, okay? Brick paving in a pedestrian area, something like that, okay? If your client asks for a method statement, you will have to provide one then. But what we've done is we've created examples for you. We've given you templates to build off of if you don't have them already. Now, this is quite handy because it will speed up the process. Okay, but if you do need any help, give us a call. We will be happy to help. All right, and then if I went into the, say, the confined space, if I go preview, what you will find is Mr. and Mrs. Smith, contract job number, date, method statement written by, whoever it was be, approved by, signature of the approver, that most likely be the managing director, okay, name of the subcontractor if applicable, and address of that subcontractor as well. So the introduction, this method statement describes the specific safe working methods which will be used to carry out work. Description of work, purpose, scope, sequence of operations, duration, completion criteria, location of work as well. Site location, Matthew Allan, this is the detail, okay. Surrounding areas, pre-work preparation, access arrangements as well, license, permit to work, supervision, supervisors, everything down to the duties, personnel, okay, training experience, who the client is, who the principal contractor is, who the principal designer is, demolition contractor if applicable, asbestos contractor if applicable, storage of materials, plant and equipment, and so on. Okay, all the way through to your risk assessments, your cost sheets, person responsible, noise assessments, water, first aid, okay, PPE, and so on. So we've got this in there for you to fill out, just a step-by-step process, making sure that by the end of it you can print it off and you can hand it over to your client as well, so they know they have a comprehensive method statement. To be honest, you may be able to hand that over and they wouldn't even have a glance at it. They'll probably do that whole fake flick through thing, but to be honest, if the HSE turn up and they ask to see your method statement, or if they ask to see any of your risk assessments or cost sheets, it's best to know that it's there. All right, and that's when we come down to the management documentation. Now, the management documentation is really important, only because these are the things that are integral to be on site. All right, so what you're going to have is the site attendance register. So that's going down to that check. Okay, so we're looking at who's on site, making sure if the HSE turn up on site, they know everybody who's on there. So if they are up on the second level of scaffolding with their helmet and high vis on, if they aren't, you'll probably get in trouble for not asking them to wear it. But if they're up there and they see somebody just walking through your site on the way to work that hasn't been cordoned off or broken off, and they ask who's that and you don't know, that's going to be a serious issue for you. Okay, then you're going to have your cost assessment request, acknowledgement of risk assessments as well, getting your guys to sign off on this to make sure that they've acknowledged all the risk assessments. So again, you're in the driver's seat if anybody's pointing the finger. Okay, site induction and site induction register, making sure that you've walked around with you guys on site so they know where things are, where the toilets are, where the hot water is, and that as well. Okay, you'll have a site manager that will be able to fill all this all out. Okay, it'll be their responsibility to make sure that this all is all in one place and it's easily accessible if the HSE turn up. Okay, you'll have your asbestos work permit. Okay, working at heights work permit, confined space work permit as well. Everything down to your hot works permit. Okay, you've got your noise assessment, PPE register, making sure that everybody's wearing their protective clothing. Harness inspection, so it's not all loose, it's not tied down loosely as well, making sure that everything is cleaned off. So if you do have a site cabin, that there isn't any mud on the steps so people can slip and do their backing. Okay, it's small, it's minor, it sounds petty, but it's happened. These are the stories we're hearing from the HSE as well and from previous builders. Okay, then everything from your site rules, making sure that everybody abides by them, scaffolding handover certificate as well, the fire plan that you have in place. This is something that the HSE like to ask about a lot, is your fire plan. What happened in the incident of a fire? Okay, your accident and incident record. Okay, if anybody does hurt themselves, how did it happen? What control measures were made afterwards as well? And if I were to preview that, okay, it's very simple. Okay, description of the accident and the incident, date and the time, fill it out, make sure that everybody is under the information as well. Okay, precise location, what happened, how was the accident caused, did the person named in section 2 below sustain any injury? If so, please give details. Detail of the person involved in the accident, please use a separate record for each person if more than one person is involved. Okay, address and postcode, making sure the HSE knows everything that's going on. So you will have this information now. Okay, you've got your toolbox talk register. This is the one that you want to have your guys sign off on if they are using the likes of pickaxes, disc cutters and such. Okay, you want to make sure that they are using it, because common sense is the mother of all as it goes on. Okay, so you want to make sure that your guys are not going to be pointing fingers. They're not going to be blaming anybody for when they make a cock up. Okay, and then you've got your toolbox talk training record. So you're making sure that if you've got apprentices on site, train them up, sign them off, make sure they are competent. Okay, before leaving them to do such work as that, because they want to make sure that they are fully aware of the risks that are involved. You've got the site audit checklist as well. This has got to be done. The HSE say it's got to be done daily, okay, but to be totally honest with you, that's a little OTT. All right, as long as it's done weekly, that's absolutely fine, or every other daily. Okay, make sure that you are walking around, you are making sure that things are tied off, they are looking through. Okay, to do it every morning is just well, it'll be a good common form of practice, really, as it were. Okay, but doing it 2 or 3 times a day, that's a yeah, as you can see, it's quite OTT. Okay, contractor questionnaire if you have anything to need to be filled out. Okay, excavation inspection register, making sure that the excavations are properly dealt with as well. The construction design and management CDM regulations 2015. Okay, what your this is your clients. Okay, so if I go in there, if I hit preview, okay, construction design and management CDM regulations, client, principal designer, principal contractor, and contractor duties. Okay, so you can see right here what the client duties are. Domestic clients, principal designer duties. This is great for you to be able to print off, hand out to you guys on site as well, hand out to your client. So at least they know, they're confident in you being able to say, okay, then if you need any more information, you can go to this website, you can type this in. Okay, these are who are in charge of what at what time as well. And the more confidence they have in you, the more likely you are to win jobs and to make sure that they, well, maybe suggest you in the future. And then you go down to the breach for health and safety procedures, making sure that this is filled out. If anybody is doing anything wrong, you can write them up. You've got your simple construction phase plan as well. Okay, so you've got your large construction phase plan, but then you've got your smaller one as well, something that you can almost hand write. Well, you can hand write, to be totally honest with you. Okay, activities and workers requiring supervision, who will be supervising, electrical work, risks to members of the public, client, and others. Okay, make sure it's signed off, make sure you have it on site for smaller jobs, because sod's law, HSE might see you with a little van out front, walking in and out with tools, and they might go, okay, what are you doing here? And if it's small maintenance work, you can go, okay, here's my construction phase plan, here are the risks that are involved, I may be climbing up a ladder now and again, okay, it's made aware, here's my start date, here's my finish date. All right. And then you've got your HAVS exposure record as well. So the introduction uses this record to help you decide what the worker's exposure is likely to be as part of a vibration risk. Okay. And then you can make sure that this is filled out as well. And last but not least, the health and safety file. This is what you're going to be filling out throughout the course of the job. Okay, this is the do part. This is when you start filling out all this information, and you'll hand this over to the client. This is the last thing it will be given to the client as well, other than a hefty handshake for that final that final check. Okay, so description of the work that has been carried out. This is for if they have any work done after you leave site. Okay, so they can hand it over to the next client, just in case there is any types of work that you finished. Just say that you were the person that ripped out a basement, you've done most of the work, but there are trestles holding the rest of the house up. You want to make sure that the next builder knows that why they are there. Okay, because the last thing you want to do is have them take down the trestles and everything fall down on top of them, really. Hazards that have not been eliminated through the design and construction process. Okay, any hazards that have not been eliminated through the design and construction processes and how they have been addressed. For example, surveys and other information concerning asbestos, contaminated land, water-bearing strata, buried services, and so on. Okay. Key structural principles. Okay. So bracing of sources of substantial stored energy, so the trestles. Okay. Pre or post tensioned members, and safe working loads for floors and roofs as well, if you are going to be walking on beams and such. And you make sure that the hazardous materials are filled out, information regarding the removal or dismantling of installed plant and equipment, and then all the way down to the nature, location, and markings of significant services as well. Okay. And that is your Health and Safety Software 2017, along with the HSG 65. Okay, what we will do is we will send you over this this information that we had from the very beginning. Okay, that nice little icon that we had. Okay, to give you a relevant idea of what you have to do from the plan to do the check and the act. Okay. Does anybody have any questions right now before we finish for this evening? Absolutely, this recording will be available to watch again. Okay, so what's going to be doing is we would have saved this all up and we'll send it over to you first thing tomorrow as a thank you for attending. But as you can see, our detailed analysis, okay, of the Plan.Do.Check.Act, and then you've got the HSC as well. So at least we're giving you a better description of how the software is going to be able to prepare you for that as well. Okay, we've had to elaborate quite exponentially because the good old health and safety, they do like to make everything as easy as possible, don't they? Any other questions? Not a problem. Happy to help. Okay then, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you to it for this evening. Thank you ever so much for attending. Okay, I do really appreciate it. If you do have any questions or queries, please get in contact as fast as you can. Okay, I'll be more than happy to help in the next couple of days. I'll make sure that everybody has all the information that we have on the HSG 65 sent through to them, including this recording as well. So if you want to hand it over to anybody else within the office so they can have a look, so they are a little bit clued up as well. Okay, but until then, thank you ever so much, and I hope you have a very good evening. Bye now.